Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Caramel Sportscast. I'm your host, Stephen Alves, alongside my dad.
Hello.
And Marissa Dorr.
Hi.
And today we're going to start things off a little differently here. We're going to talk about the MLB postseason. We're going to go over their bracket and who we think is going to win. Yes, we know Game 1 and 2 for the AL have gone by, and Game 1 for the NL is going by right now. So, we're going to do what we can. Dad, what do you want to say?
I really think the postseason is kind of screwed up for the division winners because it's only a 3-game series. I think that's a joke. It should be a different format.
They should at least get a bye or have more games.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of a bye, but it is what it is, and I hate that expression, but that's what it is. So, I am an A's fan, as my son is, and Marissa, you are a
Giants fan.
What game out?
Wearing a Brewer shirt, I might add.
Yep, go Brewers tonight.
Man. First game for the A's against the White Sox was depressing,
Very.
to say the least. They never really looked like they were in the game. Luzardo went through the first inning with a man on. I thought he could do well, but White Sox proved again why they are 14-0 against left-handers, which leads people to question why they had a left-hander that day.
Yeah, it seems like Melvin, every time he gets to the postseason, just tries to do something different for, shits and giggles, I guess. I don't know. But it made no sense for him to start a left-handed pitcher for a team, going against a team that was 14-0 against left-handed pitchers. It made no sense.
Yes,
and his decisions continued to boggle me today, putting in Hendricks in the 8th inning with 1 out. Just not a wise use of...
No outs.
No outs? Okay, no outs.
Yeah, it was a 7+ for Chris Bassett. And
you're right.
Yeah, so the A's bats were pretty quiet in Game 1 too, but luckily today they got to a really hot start against Dallas Keuchel, going for 5 runs, I believe, in the first 3 or 4 innings. Really impressive work from people like Marcus Semien, who Dad said was going to be the key to this series. He got a 2-run homer off of him scoring in. Sean Murphy, and who people thought might have scored a home run as well, but they called it a foul ball. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it looked like it was going right over the thing. I thought it was fair, but
once again, a call goes against the A's.
Yes, unfortunately so. And to be honest, talking about the call to have Hendricks in the 8th, I honestly thought that was a good one. I was texting you during the game. You agreed as well. Do you have a case to make for Hendricks?
I think Hendricks has been pretty consistent all year long. I think he's been one of the best closers in the league, and I think it was a good decision to put him in there.
Yeah, and it wasn't just to just to close it out. It was because they wanted to put their best guy against their best hitters, because it was their heart of the order at the time that he came in. Yes, while some of them did go up again, that was also because he just had his 9th inning wasn't as good. I think maybe they should have had someone else in for the 9th inning.
Yeah, but
that's
also going 2 full innings is going to take a lot of pitches. That basically will take him out of tomorrow's game. If
yeah, so that's where we differ. Is where I think it was right. We think it was right to put him in the 8th, but he should not have pitched the 9th. It should have been either Diekman or Petit for that situation.
Diekman. I just like saying that name.
Yeah.
Diekman.
But either way, A's got the win. They live to see another day. And the question is who do they start for Game 3? My vote goes to Mike Fiers, even though I didn't know how he would do, just because the White Sox have such powerful hitters, and he's a pitcher that allows a lot of fly balls, so it's how's that going to go? But he is in Oakland, so, a very pitcher-friendly ballpark, and he actually has a good record against the White Sox. I believe he's 4-0 with a 1.58 ERA against them in his career. And he's been excellent at home just in general.
And it's about time that the A's give him a chance to actually play in a playoff game, considering he's got screwed over the last 2 years when they started, what's his face last year?
It was Sean
Manaea, and then Hendricks the year before. Flyers have been one of the most consistent A's pitchers for the last 2 years, 3 years actually, and they haven't given him a chance to show his worth. Tomorrow he will shine.
Now, I know you mentioned another option, Marissa, that what they can do for Game 3, and you said it as well, Dad, that they might try to bullpen this game, knowing that they have the best bullpen in the MLB. It's something that doesn't sound too crazy. Of course, we know how it went before in New York.
Yeah, but Hendricks is a different pitcher.
Yeah, that is very true. That can go either way, but I still lean towards Fires. What do you think? Fires or bullpen?
I think Fire should start, but they could easily still make it a bullpen game. I think someone they really need to utilize is Yusmeiro Petit. I think he's really great, and he'll really help them.
Totally agree.
Okay. What else should we say about bracket? Should we just go over some other predictions?
Yeah, we got Cleveland and New York next.
Yeah, and actually, we're just looking at it now. They just delayed the game as the weather right there was insane. The winds were blowing like crazy. Rain was pouring down on them, and they just delayed it now. And I think New York's going to come away with this. And even though Cleveland was up 1-0 before they started the delay, I'm going to go with New York on that one. Their offense is way too dominant, and their pitching, I think, will come in the clutch.
Yeah, the downside of the rain delay is if it's a long rain delay, then the starting pitcher will be taken out of the game, and they're going to bring somebody else in. They're going to play this game no matter how long it takes. I do pick Yankees to win the series just on their bats.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I'm going to pick the Yankees to win this series as well. I know they're technically a wild card team. They're still really dominant, and their bats are just crazy.
Yeah. Next series we got the Twins are going against Houston, and that series is already over with Houston sweeping that 2-game series.
Yeah. The best of three, but yeah, the Twins were just insanely disappointing, especially on offense. They just could not do anything, and they shot themselves in the foot plenty of times too. Base running errors, that was easy to talk about, and not taking advantage of certain opportunities with men on base.
Well, what's his name? The shortstop.
Carlos Correa.
Had the error.
Oh no, Jorge Polanco. You're talking about the Twins.
Yeah, he flubbed the ball in the 8th inning yesterday.
No, 9th inning. It was with 2 outs. Totally messed it up, and then Houston took the lead after that and never looked back. And then he also was the final out of the series, striking out looking, which, just pain.
Your thoughts, Marissa?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty disappointing. The Twins were the winners of the division, and, this ended up being their 18th straight postseason loss.
Yeah,
and
18 in a row.
I'm pretty sure everybody except for Astros fans wanted to see the Twins win. So, yeah, it's just disappointing.
I bet even some Astros fans who feel guilty, I bet didn't even want to see them win because they just knew it would draw more publicity.
Next, we got Tampa Bay against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so that one is already over. Tampa Bay already got their 2 wins. It really wasn't much of a series. Tampa Bay pretty much dominated the entire time, and they're showing that they can really be a surprise not even a surprise contender. They were the number 1 seed, but they just still find a way to be under the radar even when they're really good, which that might have to do with them just not having many fans, even though no one was supposed to go to any games this season. It's just still they're always going to be under the radar to me, but I could really see them winning the World Series this year if they just keep up with what they're doing right now.
To the National League.
Yep, got the Dodgers and Brewers. Brewers snuck in to the playoffs this year, even though they really did not look that good.
They looked awful. I mean, Brewers. Who would like the Brewers?
Yeah, I would never like the Brewers.
I'm sorry.
The Brewers, they really did sneak in there. I don't really think they have a chance against the Dodgers. I think they're missing a big piece in their lineup. Lorenzo Cain, he decided to opt out of the rest of the season, and I think that really had an effect on them. I think today they announced that Devin Williams, one of their relief pitchers, isn't going to be on the roster for the wild card series, which is another big loss to them. And Christian Yelich has done absolutely nothing this season. I mean, really, he's just underperformed, and it's been really underwhelming.
Is this his 3rd year?
With the Brewers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
third year. Because he was with
Miami.
Miami.
He was part of the Miami exodus by Derek Jeter. But I think I could sum up Yelich this year. Just gotta But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
those
pretty
are a
much
bunch
it.
of Z's, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Next, we got the Padres and Cardinals. Cardinals jumped on the Padres immediately in Game 1. It's still underway right now in the top of the 8th inning with them up 6-4, but they did jump on them with a 4-0 lead. But it is very surprising to see how this is. You know, Cardinals always find a way to do pretty good in the playoffs, I believe. But still, just seeing the Padres be down right now is a little disappointing. You know, I really wanted to see what they could do, you know, making the playoffs for the first time in a while. So, you know, there's that.
I do like the Padres. They have an incredible batting order. I mean, when the A's played them earlier, being a pitcher, I'd be shaking in my boots to go against this lineup. Tatis, incredible. They got Moreland at first base right now. I really don't know too much about their pitching.
Rosenthal, that was a big acquisition they got middle of the season. He's been pretty good so far. He's actually up right now. Correct? Yes.
Yes.
No, that's Richards. You deluded me. We were watching the game right now, by the way. But anyways, I think even if the Padres lose this game, I could see them easily coming back here. But either way, it should be an entertaining series, even though it's just.
I do like the Padres. I know nothing honestly about St. Louis.
And now going into the Cubs and Marlins series. Cubs already lost game 1, I believe 5-1.
Do you always want the Padres?
Yes.
You, Steven?
Yeah, I'll go Padres.
Okay.
But anyways, back to the Cubs and Marlins. Marlins pulled off a bit of an upset by winning over Hendricks. Hendricks is an excellent starting pitcher for the Cubs, but Miami pulled through late in the game. But that's going to come at the cost of Starling Marte, who is going to be out for the rest of the postseason with a broken left hand, right? He's going to use left hand because he was like this, so I'm pretty sure it was his left. Yeah, a big bummer too, especially since it was in the 9th inning when it felt like the game was already decided. So, you know, that's going to be a loss on the Marlins, even if they manage to win this series. And actually, a fun thing, they never lost a playoff series ever, even though they've only been to the postseason twice, which means they got 2 World Series wins.
Both times.
Yeah. Can they do it again? Probably not, but they're going to give it their all. And they weren't really expected to make the playoffs in the first place either, so, you know, that alone is very impressive.
And who do you like in this series?
Cubs.
I'm going to go Marlins only because I really want them to win. I just want, you know, there to be a variety and different teams making the postseason, and, you know, the Marlins haven't been there in a while. So
I'm going with the Marlins only because it sounds close to my name.
Okay, Martin.
Yeah. My name's Martin, by the way, so that's why. It's a strange thing. Go ahead. Next game.
Yes. Now we got the Braves and Reds. That was a big game right there. No offense until the very end of the game. Reds had plenty of opportunities, especially with Bauer pitching as great as ever for them. It was 7 2/3, but they just cannot pull through in the 13th inning.
yes.
Yeah.
13th.
The Reds were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, even though they were shut out. The hit they had was with a man on second base, and he couldn't score. So, no, he was throwing it at home.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, either way, big bummer for them, you know, being able to hold the Atlanta scoreless for 12 innings. You know, that's impressive, but they just couldn't score, and that bit them in the end.
Yeah.
What do you
And
have
who
to
do
say?
you like? Oh, I'm sorry. Your comments on the game.
Yeah, I think Bauer really went out there and they just wasted a good start from him. But they do have really good starting pitching, so tomorrow I think it's going to be Sonny Gray, but I'm not sure. So they might be able to...
Is it going to be sunny or is it going to be gray?
Both.
Are you talking about the weather?
No. I don't know tomorrow. They might be able... They really need to wake up their bats, and they need to make better decisions on the bases. I think they had a couple of base running blunders that cost them, and they weren't able to cash in when they really needed to. So, we'll see.
So, all, who do you pick to win everything? American League, who do you pick a winner, Marissa?
I'm going to go with the Rays.
Rays? Steven?
Oh, to win the World Series?
Win the American League.
Oh, win the American League? As much as I'd love to go with the A's, I think I'm going to go with Rays as well. They look really good.
Well,
on all sides.
I'm doing the long shot. I mean, I'm going with the A's. I know I'm a homer, but they played the last 2 weeks so awful, and they're a better team than that. I think they're gonna get their shit together and get on a nice little roll here. They got the pitching, they have the hitting, and I think it's gonna come through. So I'm picking the A's to win the West.
And
The American League.
have we discussed the NL? Who we think will win that one?
Yeah, well, right now, who do you like?
I just need to look at it again. Marissa, I think you already got yours with the Padres still?
Oh, no, that's who I would like to win the National League.
Oh.
It pains me to say this, but I really think the Dodgers are going to go again this year. They just look very dominant.
You know what? I'm going to say St. Louis. I'm going to say St. Louis right there. I think they're going to pull an upset on the Dodgers when they play each other. Even though, like I said, I still think the Padres can make a comeback. I could still see St. Louis pulling off a upset on the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are known for choking a lot this decade and century. Yes, they choke a lot.
It's a new
And
decade.
I'm going with the Padres. It's going to be the Dodgers and Padres in the finals of the National League, and I think the Dodgers are going to do choke again.
Yeah.
So I'm picking the Padres. Padres against the A's, and I'm being a homer. I'm going with the A's to win it all. World Series champions. Thank you very much. Can I get the trophy now?
Going Rays. And sorry for that blunder saying decade, even though we are in 2020. Just I don't like being reminded that we're in a new decade because it hasn't been good so far.
Awful.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Dodgers, unfortunately.
And who are they going to go up against?
The
You
Rays.
said the Rays. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
that's pretty much all we got to say. Actually, we got one more thing about baseball.
Oh, yeah. Talking about baseball.
I'm moving the mic towards Marissa. And she's going to talk about the San Francisco Giants and her feelings. Marissa, the floor is all yours.
All right, so the Giants, they obviously did better than expected this year. You know, it's supposed to be a rebuild. Nobody really thought they would even come close to 500. And the end of their season was pretty disappointing. It ended with a really bad call from an umpire. You know, Slater struck out looking with the pitch that was clearly not a strike. However, I've seen a lot of fans that have been blaming this umpire, but I think they really need to look, and the Giants are the ones that really screwed themselves. I think they could have had their season wrapped up a few days before the last day. You know, they had plenty of opportunities to beat the Padres, and even decisions that they made in the beginning of the year. You know, Kapler's bullpen management wasn't great. They have made a lot of errors, and the series against the A's especially came back to hurt them.
Yes.
And I think a lot of those cost them wins that were pretty easy. You know, I think especially against the A's when they had big leads and they ended up blowing them, those wins really cost them. And you know, you can't really blame an umpire when you had so many opportunities. Overall, I think, I guess we can be pretty satisfied that they did better than expected, but it's still not enough. And I think next year, one thing that's going to improve them is the return of Buster Posey. I think they really need a reliable catcher that works well with his pitchers, and he's a big leader. And you know, their rookie catcher that they brought up, Joey Bart, you know, everybody was rooting for him. I was rooting for him, and he struggled a lot. And even Evan Longoria said that he desperately needed Buster Posey to come back and help him. So I think he'll be a big impact next year. And I know that this season had lots of lows for them, but I think some maybe two positive things that came out of this were Mike Yastrzemski and Donovan Solano. I think those two were really bright spots for them, and they did really well.
Yeah, Yastrzemski was a find, I tell you.
Yeah, he was really good this year, and even like last year too, I believe he was pretty good as well.
Yeah, and they totally surprised the hell out of me too. How many wins did they have? They were 500.
No,
They were down close though.
I think they finished 28 and 30.
No, last year.
Oh, last year?
Yeah.
Last
They tried to contend that year too, even though they weren't expected to do much. They chose not to sell at the deadline, and that didn't work out.
And why didn't Posey play? He opted out?
Yes.
Yeah, he opted out.
Bum.
Oh.
Come on, bum Posey.
No. Him and his wife adopted newborn twins, so he didn't want to play.
Double header. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
On to football.
Yes. I don't know if I can actually do that sound.
Oh,
Is that legal issues? Oh no. Fox is like, hello? I heard you use our sound. I don't like that.
Do that.
Anyways, though, let's now get to some football. So first up, we got a real sleeper here on Thursday night.
You mean a snoozer?
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. We got the Denver Broncos against the New York Jets. Yay! The Denver Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. Denver last played against Tampa Bay, got demolished by them 28-10. And they're going to go with their third-string quarterback, Brett Rypien. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, to be completely honest. But either way, that just tells that this is going to be a big snoozer here. I don't really expect either of these teams to do well. And another thing to take note of is that Denver has lost their star defensive tackle, Jarrell Casey. With him, their running game on defense was really good so far. And without him, that's going to make a big problem for them running-wise. And the Jets, they're the Jets. They look awful.
The plus side about this game is one of these teams is going to go get a win.
That is very true, though. One of them have to come out as a winner. But either way, if someone is going to want to win, it's going to be Denver because they were poised to have at least be able to make the 6th or 7th seed in the playoffs. And if they don't win here, then their season is pretty much in a lot of jeopardy. You could probably say it's over. If they can't beat the Jets, then who can they beat? What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Jets pretty much stink.
Yeah, they haven't been able to score more than 17 points over. They scored 17 in week 1. Then they were just held on to then 13 in week 2, 7 in week 3. I say they get 17 this week, but the Broncos will score more. I say it's going to be a 21-17. Denver wins.
So we would all agree that Denver's going to win this game and cover?
Yes.
Okay. Next game, we got Indianapolis at 2-1 at Chicago at 3-0. It's the ever surprising Chicago Bears.
Yes, they are the most surprising 3-0 team so far. What you got? That has come from a comeback win by Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles. The reason why Nick Foles was the other one is because Trubisky really hasn't been that consistent ever since he got them a comeback win in week 1. I do look forward to Nick Foles playing. He is easily one of my favorite non-Raider players. A lot of that having to be from him being the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
And
Absolutely love that.
And Chicago is getting
3 points.
They're getting 3 points.
Yes.
At home.
Yeah. Indianapolis, they've recovered nicely ever since they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 1. Big stunner right there, but they've recovered nicely. But they have also beaten teams that are poor like Minnesota and the New York Jets, so they haven't had a big challenge. And Chicago is easily they're going to be their biggest challenge against the defense this year. And despite all that, I'm going to be going with the Bears on this one, mainly with their defense. I think they're going to be able to pick off Rivers a couple of times. And by the way, the Bears are actually going to be giving up 2.5. We just checked CBS Sports for their spreads, and they updated to 2.5, not 3.
They're getting.
It's getting 2.5.
They're getting 2.5 points.
Yeah.
That's a fresh update. Okay.
And, where do you go with this, Marissa?
Yeah, I have Chicago too.
All right.
And I'm also taking them. Yeah, Indianapolis has been very surprising this year. This could be Phillip Rivers' resurgence, but I think the Bears' defense is too tough. We all have Chicago.
Yeah. And next up, a very interesting game here. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Tennessee is gaining 1 point with this one. They were a 1-point favorite at first, but with the little mini COVID outbreak for the Titans, they have 3 players who have tested positive and 5 personnel. They cannot go into their facility until Saturday, and it has been recently said that the NFL plans on postponing this game to either Monday or even Tuesday. We might get Tuesday night football, folks.
Woo-hoo.
That'll be very interesting. It's another day of football, so I won't argue against that.
That's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Both teams are 3-0. Pittsburgh really hasn't beaten a
Good
proven team. Tennessee just played good football.
Yeah. They have had some games closer than expected. They should have been the Denver Broncos in week 1 by more. Gostowski was missing a lot of kicks, so there was that, but they still pulled through. And with Minnesota, Minnesota's offense was a lot better than they usually were. So there's that. They only won by 1 point in that one. And even with Jacksonville Jaguars, they only won by 3. So their games have been a lot more closer than necessary, knowing the expectations that Tennessee came with.
And Tennessee is getting one
Yes.
at home.
Yep, and just because of, along with the preparation that both teams are getting, Pittsburgh's going to be much more prepared this week, and that's why I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to win.
I'm going Tennessee because they are at home, and I think they're a better team.
I'm going to go with Tennessee, too.
Oh, for real? Tennessee?
Yeah.
All right, then I guess I'll just be by myself on that one.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
Okay, next game, we got Minnesota at Houston. Houston is giving up 4 points. Minnesota's 0-3. Houston's 0-3. So once again, somebody's going to get into the winning circle here.
Yes, and this one at first I wanted to favor Houston, since they are the favorites anyway, and they are at home. I just have a feeling that Minnesota's going to be able to come through on defense, mainly because Deshaun Watson's O-line is just awful. Or maybe the Texans' O-line has been awful for Deshaun Watson. It's not often that you have a mobile quarterback that still gets sacked a lot. Usually they're able to escape those, and he definitely tries his best, but their O-line is just so awful to where every now and then they'll still get him. And I think that they're going to fail him completely in this game.
And the loss of Hopkins is very obvious. He doesn't have the weapons that he had last year.
Yeah. Will Fuller's still a good target for him. So is Darren Fells. But, yeah, I just don't see Houston winning this one. I think Watson will do the best he can. David Johnson, I could see him having a pretty good game. But either way, I'm going to go with Minnesota on this one. Where do you go with this, Marissa?
I think I'm going to go Minnesota.
Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Raiders are getting 3 points here. Buffalo is 3-0, while the Raiders are 2-1. And we're going to spend a little bit more time on this one, mainly because the Raiders are involved. So, talking about last week's game, it was really disappointing. Even though New England was a favorite in it, I think we can say that the Raiders shot themselves plenty of times in that game, especially on offense with Jacobs having a fumble and Carr having 2 fumbles as well, and them just not really being able to sink in offensively. Renfro had a good game, with 80 yards and a touchdown. Especially in the end of the first half, he really pulled through there to get them a touchdown to make it at least a bit of a close game going to halftime, but it was just a really frustrating game overall. And, not even talking about the defense here. They got killed in the run game, allowing 250 rushing yards to Rex Burkhead and Sony Michael. That is completely unacceptable. And the injuries are getting even worse too, as they will be missing Brian Edwards, Henry Ruggs for another week. Abram, I don't know what's going to happen with him because he's making it obvious that his shoulder is not feeling that great. I showed you some film a couple days ago, Marissa, of Jonathan Abram, where he was missing lots of tackles. It's just he's just not going completely for it. He was taking a really bad angle, and it paid every time. They had to pay for it every time. And a big question I have is, where does Paul Gunther go from here? He is their defensive coordinator. This is the best defensive group he's gotten, on paper at least, so far in his tenure with the Raiders. And yet, it is also the worst one right now performing-wise.
Well, my big question is, what Raider team is going to show up? They've been inconsistent all year long. I mean, they had a great game against New Orleans, keeping the ball away from Breeze, and they couldn't sustain any kind of drive. Now, they did have a couple drops and some calls that go against them that thwarted any kind of drive they were starting. So,
yeah. And also the injuries, too. They've really handicapped them, especially on the offensive line, which you're moving a man who plays guard to tackle, and for where Trent Brown is supposed to be playing, so that hurts right there. He should be playing guard, and you got a rookie playing at left guard for where Richie Incognito is supposed to be, but he is on IR. So that hurts a lot as well, and it forces them to change their game plan, especially when you're missing your top 2 receivers. Technically top 3, since Tyrell Williams was already out for the year with a torn shoulder.
I'm going to take Buffalo and a walkover.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a closer game, but I'm still going to take Buffalo to win and cover in this one. Josh Allen has just been phenomenal this year. He is a top 5 quarterback, especially in fantasy. Got a great arm. He can run the ball well. He has some questionable decision-making with who he passes the ball to. But either way, I'm going to go with them in this one. And, yeah. Where do you go with this one, Marissa?
I agree. I think Buffalo's going to win this and cover. I just think that they're going to play a better game.
Yeah. Buffalo is going to be doing their best to make sure they can win the AFC East, with New England possibly losing as well to Kansas City, which we'll discuss later. Out of the way, on to the next one. We got the Cleveland Browns against the Dallas Cowboys. Wait a minute. Is that 2? 1? That's one more win and a loss. So that means, wait a minute. Cleveland has a winning record. Yes, that is true, folks. Cleveland has a winning record at 2-1. First time since 2014 of December.
Wow.
December of 2014. Either way. Cleveland has been having a good amount of expectations for the last 2 years. This is their chance to punch through with that, trying to prove that they are no longer a pushover after being that for the past 2 decades. But for this one, I'm going to go with Dallas. Dallas is giving up 4.5 points. Even though Dallas does have a losing record, they really tried their best against the Seattle Seahawks, losing by 7 in that one, 38-31. Prescott, honestly, I've been a bit critical of him, but I think he's been a great quarterback so far. It's been him that has been able to keep the Cowboys in most of their games, and I think he's going to pull through this week.
I'm going with Dallas as well. I think they'll dominate.
Yeah, Marissa, what do you have to say about this game here?
I think Dallas is going to win, but I think Cleveland will cover the game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think it's going to be a really close one, but Prescott's play at quarterback will pull through.
Next game on the list here, we got Baltimore at Washington. Baltimore 2-1, Washington 1-2. Baltimore lost on Monday night to KC, which you picked Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I picked Baltimore.
Yeah. And Washington lost to Cleveland.
And by the way, I don't want to be a snitch, but she also picked Baltimore too.
Okay. You guys are both losers. Way to go. No, I mean, I don't know how you can go against the world champion Kansas City Chiefs and getting 3.5 points. That was quite an easy pick. It's okay. You guys are young.
I think, though, that the Baltimore Ravens are going to dominate the Washington football team here. Washington has just been an awful team. Dwayne Haskins hasn't been really good, and I could tell that Ron Rivera is going to want to put someone else in soon. And I honestly really hope that it is Alex Smith. Alex Smith, a couple years ago, he broke his leg horribly, and he has recently made a full recovery. He's permitted to play football again. And it would be wonderful to see him play again. You can tell he loves football a lot. And I just hope that comes through. That will come at the cost of Dwayne Haskins. But, he's still really young, and he can maybe find a chance with another team and all.
How old is Alex Smith?
Alex Smith, he has to be in his early to mid-30s. He's been playing for a while now.
Yeah, I think he's in mid to late 30s. Anyway.
So who do you go with this one?
I'm going with Baltimore. Baltimore's a tough team. They had such an off game against Kansas City. I was so shocked at how often Jackson was going to the same receiver every time, trying to squeeze the ball in there. I don't know.
Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a very reliable tight end for him. Yes.
Yeah.
And he had a bad game. Mark Andrews is one of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL, but he didn't show it there. He couldn't catch many of his passes, and it wasn't like they were very, very difficult to catch. He just had a really bad game. And what do you have to say about him, Marissa? And by the way, Baltimore is favored by 13.5.
So I picked Baltimore to win as well, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a closer game, only just because of how they played last week. I think they're definitely going to win. They're a better team. Just, I think maybe last week might have shocked them a little bit.
And I don't have quite the numbers on Baltimore's winning streak on the road, but it's impressive. I'm guessing it's 14 or 15 games they've won on the road.
They are really good either way, and they're going to dominate this game. No question about it.
So they will cover.
Yeah, they're going to cover. Yeah. And, like I said, Baltimore's favored by 13.5.
And they got a chip on their shoulder because of Monday night.
They're going to play a little angry.
Domination.
Next up, we got the New Orleans Saints in Detroit going against the Lions. Lions are getting 4 points here. New Orleans they're both 1-2. New Orleans has been a little bit disappointing so far, losing to the Raiders and Green Bay Packers. Although those were both tough games that they were both in.
Yeah.
Throughout those games, they looked worse against the Raiders than against the Packers. But I wonder what they're going to be able to do this week, especially with Detroit pulling off a big upset over the Cardinals.
Yeah, Detroit is obviously coming off an upset of Arizona, which totally surprised me. I mean, I had Arizona as the game of the week.
Yeah, the lock.
Yeah, I mean, but it seemed like Kyler Murray was going for the bomb every other play instead of doing sustained drives.
Yeah, using his legs.
And his passes weren't even close.
Yeah, he got intercepted, I think, like 3 times that game. It wasn't good for him, but I think this is a little bit of a lucky thing for Detroit. I think New Orleans is going to get back in the win column here to try to stay close to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South Division.
I'm going with New Orleans. I think Breeze is off the deathbed.
Yep, and of course all he has to do is just drop it down to Alvin Kamara, and he'll just take it all the way with his legs and balance. And they also might get Michael Thomas back too. So,
boy, Kamara's an incredible player.
Yeah. What do you have to say?
Hear me out. I'm picking Detroit for the upset
again.
Let's
go. Turn off this podcast. I don't know what's going on here.
I just think New Orleans, they've been in their games, but I just don't think they've played to the best of their abilities, so I'm going to pick Detroit.
Okay.
Freezing cold takes, please write that one down. You know that account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good account.
No, don't write it down.
No,
okay.
I'll make sure to remember.
Next we have Arizona at Carolina. Carolina is getting 3.5 points. Arizona's 2-1, and Carolina is 1-2.
All right. So you already talked about the spread.
Yes, 3.5 points.
Okay. So both teams are coming off big upsets here. One going the other way for either of them. So Arizona being the team that got upset, and Carolina pulling off the upset. Although they were one play away from not having that too. But we'll discuss that a little later.
Is a win against the Chargers really an upset?
No, I don't think so.
They got to win.
Yeah, a win's a win. And I think Arizona's going to have a big bounce back here. Kyler Murray was very off, as we said in the last game. But he'll get back to it. He's going to run the ball a lot. And Carolina just won't be themselves. Like I said, their offense is still limited without Christian McCaffrey. And their defense isn't that good either. I expect DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk to go off on them, and Larry Fitzgerald too. Just their whole wide receiver core will have a great game, and I'm going to go with Arizona to win and cover.
Yeah, Murray is such a talented quarterback, which really it's made the loss last week to Detroit even more surprising to me. But I think they are going to bounce back against Carolina, and they will cover.
And what say you?
Yeah, I agree. I think Arizona's going to win and cover.
All right. Next up, we got the New York Giants against the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are giving up 13 points here. And basically what I wrote down on my notes is the New York Giants have figured out how to be worse than expected in every way possible, and the Rams are going to have a field day at home and enjoy a return to the win column. You could say that the Rams deserved to win last week, especially on the last play of one of the last plays of the game where they were called for a defensive pass interference, which I did not agree with. You saw it, right, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, when neither of us agreed on that call, they should have had that win. But, with that, they're going to play angry. And the Giants are the perfect team to take it out on. Just New York football is just awful. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yes, yeah. You have seen them through the Niner game last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just awful. And I'm going to go with Los Angeles Rams to win and cover.
Ditto.
And you agree too?
Me too.
Okay. So now we got the Jacksonville Jaguars in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Bengals are the 3-point favorite. Jacksonville is 1-2. Cincinnati is 0-2-1. And I only got one thing to say about this game.
Wake up.
Okay. And either way, being real and all, I do look forward to watching Gardner Minshew and Joe Burrow face off in this one. That is actually the only thing I look forward to in this game. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to come out on top here. He is my favorite to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. And he will get his first ever NFL win at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I got Cincinnati as well. I like Burrows. I predicted they were going to get their first win last week. They got a tie. Well, their time is going to come for their win this week.
Yeah, I think it's time for Joe Burrow's first win.
Yes, as long as his offensive line learns how to protect him, because he is actually they were saying that they want him to throw the ball sooner, and yet his time in the pocket is almost like at the bottom when it comes to how much time he spends, which means he's really quick there. So what are they asking him to do? Just throw the ball immediately. Receive it.
Next game, we got Seattle at Miami. Miami is getting 6.5 points. Seattle is 3-0, and Miami is 1-2.
Yes. Russell Wilson, he's going to be really doing the best he can to prove that he is an MVP. Some people know that he has never gotten a single vote in his career, and I think this year is the year for him to get the MVP award. He has been so great. He's already got 14 touchdown passes, and he is just phenomenal. The only thing holding him back right now is Seattle's defense. They are awful so far this year. What else do you have to say?
I'm going off the limb here, and I'm going to go Miami. Only, you know what? Because every year, and I should have been going for, because I think actually this is going to screw up everything that I've said before for the last 20 minutes or so.
I hope it does.
About this, but they have this thing 2 or 3 times a year called Upset Sunday. And
get a load of this guy.
Oh yeah, and this is going to be an upset win for Miami. Miami is at home, and it's the beard dude Fitzpatrick. Yes. He's going to have an incredible day.
Fitzmagic.
Yeah, he's going to have an incredible day. And you know what? He impresses me. I don't like the guy per se, but he impresses me.
I definitely adore his love for football. He loves football so much, and he shows it whenever he plays, and I love that. But I will say though, even though I do have Seattle winning, so I don't know you, but I have Seattle winning. But I'm just gonna say, if you have any Miami players such as Mike Gesicki or Fitzpatrick on your team, take them, because like I said, Seattle's defense is awful. This game's gonna get a little closer than necessary, but I will still go Seattle covering. I think they're gonna score 7 points as 6.5 point favorites.
And that's why I'm picking Miami.
And Marissa, you were nodding. I think you have someone on fantasy. Do you have anyone on fantasy for Miami? Who is that? Gesicki?
Yes, I have Gesicki on my team.
Ah, yes, you better start him then.
Yeah, I think he's one of my starters this week.
And you were complaining about not having George Kittle.
Yeah. But I do have Seattle winning, but I have Miami covering the game.
Okay.
Next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay era for Tom Brady got off to a little bit of a shaky start to begin with, losing
first 2 games, yeah.
in New Orleans. He didn't look too good, tossing an interception, a pick six, 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick six. But ever since then, he seems like he's settled down quite a bit. He's got a little bit of a connection with Mike Evans, even though Mike Evans doesn't have that many yards. And a little funny fact here, Mike Evans last week, he had 2 catches for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. That helped me in fantasy a lot. Got me 14.2 points right there. So, I'll take that any day.
I'm not mentioning anything about fantasy because I haven't yet to do anything. I'm scoring less than 100 points a game. So I am the doormat of our fantasy league.
I'm going to want to talk about fantasy a little bit after we do our picks, if we have time for that. But either way, what do you have to say about the game so far?
Yeah, I have Tampa Bay winning, but I have the Chargers.
What is the point spread?
It is -7 for the Tampa Bay.
I think it's going to be a little closer.
Yeah, I think Tampa is going to win and cover.
So do I.
Yeah, because I think Brady's getting to know his receivers a little bit better. and they're going to roll.
You know what? I'm going to say Gronk gets a touchdown.
I say
a 2-yarder.
I say Gronk is going to get a concussion.
2-yard touchdown for Gronkowski. The whole sideline is going to go crazy. Gronkowski's going to be going crazy.
And thing about Gronkowski, man, I like the guy. He's a funny guy, but all he takes is one more hit. He was doing. It seemed like, I know he's an athlete. Had to go out in his prime, or semi-prime actually. He is getting up there a little bit, but all it takes is one more hit.
Oh, one thing to take note of too is he hasn't actually been even playing that many routes. He's actually been mainly blocking.
All it takes is one more hit.
I know, but blocking really assures it takes away that chance by a lot.
Okay.
For him to get hurt. And he even said that too in an interview. He's accepted the role of playing a blocker most of the time. And one more thing about the game.
Himself as a bench.
No. Okay. But either way, just to talk about the Chargers for a little bit, they were one play away from pulling off a win, a comeback against the Carolina Panthers, but Eckler couldn't grab the ball. You could say either Allen couldn't toss it the right way, or he did it too soon, or Eckler couldn't catch. I'm going with Eckler couldn't get it. Of course, that's how the Chargers are. They just find ways to lose. And, yeah, that's all I got to say about that game.
Next game, we got New England at Kansas City. Kansas City is giving up 7. New England is 2-1. KC 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Kansas City here. I'm really happy with how Cam Newton has done so far. He's making a strong case to get the Comeback Player of the Year award. But he wasn't all that great last week against the Raiders. Even though they did stomp on them in the second half of the game, that wasn't really thanks to Newton. That was thanks to their running game and Bill Belichick's coaching. But I still going to go with Newton to have a decent game here. But Kansas City's going to pull through. Kansas City is just scary to go against. It's hard for them. It's hard to see them lose because of how Mahomes are in that offense.
When they almost lost to the Chargers,
yeah, that was weird.
I just think they weren't prepared for that other quarterback.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but that was a weird week for them. Maybe just a fluke, but either way, Mahomes is going to have a great game as he usually does. And I'm going to go with Kansas City to win. But, like I said with my comments of Cam Newton, New England will cover. What do you say?
So I might have another cold take here, but I actually have New England winning, only because Kansas City, they just played on Monday, and to further fuel this cold take, I'm gonna say that Patrick Mahomes, with the excitement of announcing his fiance's pregnancy, maybe he just won't play that well.
A baby on the brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying you're fueling your cold take. So technically, you fuel something with coal, such as a train. So technically, are you fueling this with ice? Since it's the cold take. I'm just saying. Hey, you should not grunt at me. You're the one that leads these. I learned from you. But yeah, that's pretty much all we gotta say about the game. Anyone else have anything to say?
Nah, Casey's gonna roll.
Okay. Next up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco.
Sunday night football.
Santa Clara, actually.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
Santa Clara is giving up 7 points. Philadelphia is 0-2-1, and the Niners are 2-1. One thing to say about the Niners is they are really lucky and unlucky. Unlucky in the way that with all these injuries they've suffered with Garoppolo, Boza, Mostert, so many people that have gotten hurt so far this year. It's crazy. This should demoralize the team. But guess what? They're going against teams that suck. They had to go against the Jets, the Giants, and now Philadelphia.
Philly.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, his time as the franchise quarterback is going to be really questionable with the Eagles. He has played awful so far, responsible for 6 turnovers. I just don't see this going well at all. San Francisco wins and covers. That's it.
Yeah, I think the whole San Francisco team went to the airport to welcome the Philadelphia Eagles. Come on to our house and get killed.
What do you have to say about this with you being a Niners fan?
And the spread is San Francisco is giving up 7.
Yeah, so I have the Niners winning and covering. I think I'm pretty sure Nick Mullins is gonna play again. He's gonna start, and I think he's just done a pretty good job filling in for Jimmy G. So I think they're gonna win.
Now, would you ever be interested in the idea of Mullins taking over? Some people have mainly joked about that, but still, I just want to hear you.
I have joked about that too. I told my dad, I said, Jimmy G better watch out. His job's on the line.
Now, did your dad laugh when you joked with him about that?
No.
Okay.
He said, no.
Well, anyways, that would save a lot of money. Just saying.
Okay, Monday Night Football. We have Atlanta at Green Bay. Green Bay is giving up 7. Atlanta is 0-3. Oh my God! And Green Bay is 3-0.
Yes. You already talked about the spread?
Yeah, Green Bay's giving up 7.
So I wrote on my notes here saying the Falcons could start the game with a 20-0 lead and they will still find a way to blow it. Yeah, I wasn't kidding there. You could give them 20 points just at kickoff and they're going to screw it up somehow. Dan Quinn, his time as the head coach for the Falcons is running out, very short on time. And yeah, what else can I say? Aaron Rodgers has looked really great so far. I apologize to the Packers for thinking that Minnesota had a chance at winning the division over them. Yes, as Marissa points at me in the sort of way. But, yeah, sorry, Green Bay. Your team is a lot better than I thought. Aaron Rodgers always knows how to find a way to throw to his receivers despite them always coming from a low spot in the draft or being undrafted in the first place. He only has 2 career touchdown passes to first-round wide receivers.
Yeah, whereas Peyton Manning had
it's somewhere in triple digits.
Yeah, 800 or 900 different. Well, that might be a little exaggeration, but literally hundreds of rookie receivers.
Not rookies, but they were in the first round. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just have Green Bay winning and covering. I don't know. I don't really know what Atlanta's going to do.
I have Green Bay winning, but not covering.
I got Green Bay going all the way.
Because Atlanta does have a good offense.
Yeah, they do, but Matt Ryan did not have a good game last week. Of course, that was against a good defense, but still,
And I'm surprised the head coach even has his job. After last week's game, I would have had his bags packed, so as soon as the game was over, get the hell out of town.
Yes. And that concludes our picks of the week. But anyways, though, I just really, really, really want to talk about fantasy football. It is something that I love to participate in so much. I am in 7 leagues, as a matter of fact. You can say that I am a tryhard. It is true, as Marissa points at me again. But either way, Marissa, you are in a few leagues yourself. How do you like fantasy football?
So I think I started last year when you told me, hey, I'm making a league. And I didn't really put too much thought into it. I kind of just did the auto picks and let it happen. But this year I really got into it, and it's been really fun. Just trying to put teams together. I've been successful in I think 2 out of the 3 leagues.
Yeah, as I said, I'm in 7 leagues. I believe 4 of them are made by the league. I'm doing 1 on ESPN, 1 on Yahoo, and then I believe like 4 more. So actually that's 6. I'm just counting there. Oh, you can't count. But either way, yeah, I do 4 on the NFL Fantasy app. One of them I actually accidentally auto-drafted because I thought that it was going to be at 10 p.m., but turns out it was 10 a.m., so I missed that one. But I'm 2-1 in that league. I'm okay. And I made another league with friends. It's got 14 people in it, and I am first place in it so far. Doing really good. I also got some friends from college involved in it. Marissa's in that one as well. She is 4th place in that league. And it's pretty fun because I got some people in it who aren't exactly football savvy, but I'm, just trying to get them into it, and they've had some fun so far. I tell them about some injuries every now and then, just to give some advice for what they should do, and it's been pretty nice. I really enjoy watching how other people do with their matchups. I really do, and it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and yeah, like I think you'll text me from time to time, and you'll say, "Oh, Matthew's gonna win," or
yeah, or Michael. I feel so bad for Michael, man. He lost by 0.21 points. 0.21, just 33 yards, and he wins. I just feel so bad for him.
Sorry, Michael.
Feel bad for me.
No.
I'm 0-3.
And there is another one with just 4. It is me, Marissa, and my parents. I am number 1 in that one as well. And just, go over the rankings here. I'm number 1 versus number 2. And my mother is number 3, and Dad is
4.
Doormat.
And then in my other one, I got even more friends involved in a 6 friend group who are not exactly sports savvy either. I'm going to just say their names here since they're involved in Caramel as well. I got Cruz, Josh, Andy, Marissa, I got your brother as well, and me. And it is really fun to do. It's fun hearing them talk about it every now and then, or when I tell them to do certain things with their league, like, hey, make sure you got this guy going, or hey, so-and-so's hurt. But it's funny just seeing them react every now and then to how their players are like, dang, this guy got 40, or like, oh, what, this guy can't even score. Oh, pain. But it's really fun to do. I just love doing fantasy football. It is the game within the game, you can say. And, if you have a team that sucks, for example, if you're just from New York, it is something that you should do. That way you just know what a win feels like.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to anyone here from New York, but,
You deserve it.
Yeah. You get your 27 wins in baseball.
And you're losing right now.
Yeah, they're losing right now, actually, to the Cleveland Indians 4-1 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But yes, I think that is going to conclude our episode of the week. Marissa, did you have fun?
I did. This was really fun.
Oh, no? Okay.
Okay, no.
Dad?
I had fun.
And I had a lot of fun as well. Can't wait to do this again sometime. And maybe we can get Larry involved, the cat. Maybe we'll get Larry's picks in someday in the future. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.